Hello, everyone, and good evening. Welcome to Adam's TV Podcast. I'm your host, Adam Samuel, and today we're talking some America's Got Talent. Joining me today is my co-host, as usual. It is Eric. How you doing, Eric?
Doing okay. I actually enjoyed this week overall. I had some issues with it, which we'll get into. Not as many issues as you had, you negative person, this week. But let's get started, shall we? Let's get through this.
Yeah, you are. I feel definitely going to be the positive figure for this podcast.
It's a great reversal from Idol.
It is. It's really funny. I'm going to disagree a little bit with Eric. Eric is pretty high on this episode. I don't know. America's Got Talent is just it's just not drawing me in like it used to. There were some seasons where they in the past were just so packed with talent and so amazing, and I'm not feeling it this season. It's weird. I'm usually so big on these shows, but there's like no one for me that I'm really rooting for. Is there anyone you're actually rooting for, Eric?
Quite a few, actually. I have quite a few acts that I'm actually enjoying. Like I downloaded some of the MP3s and I've been listening to a couple of them a lot. And yeah, I've actually heard a couple acts I really do like this season. Now the format issues, I think, which obviously we could talk about as much as we want, they're never gonna change it. If anything, will make it worse. But I think that honestly, the number one change they could make next season, and I'm just gonna blurt this out of nowhere: one less audition round, one more live show. That's all they have to do for me to actually like the format again.
I would take two. Take 2 audition episodes. Give me 2 more live shows.
But I think a top 6 final is much better than a top 10 final. Is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, that's a given. Yeah, this format is something that they've been using for the past couple of seasons. Yeah,
and it's I mean, I understand why they keep it because the ratings are so damn good, but I also think that the show would be a lot better if they went back to something so closer to season 9's format.
Yeah, I it's funny. I don't even actually remember all the names. Yeah.
What? I didn't hear what you said.
Who was the winner of season 9 again?
Matt.
Was it Matt? Which was the season with Kenichi? That was
the year before.
Yeah, that season.
Same format, both seasons.
Yeah, I'm gonna say those are also the best formats. I just like it more. Like these, it just feels so drawn out. Like from auditions to the live shows, we're wasting how many weeks? It
was 5 weeks auditions,
3 months
plus
6 weeks auditions plus the week of like.
How did I forget that? Yeah, 6 weeks of auditions, 4 weeks of judge cuts, 1 week off for July 4th, 11 weeks.
That's insane.
It is genuinely insane. And by the way, that adds up to much longer than the entirety of the live shows.
Like 7 weeks. Like 7 weeks from auditions to live shows. That's how much it should go. I would even say less than that. It's too much. Like these are not the interesting parts of the round. The golden buzzer, I know for a lot of people on Facebook who are scrolling down and seeing like they want to see the golden buzzer. For me, it just doesn't do it for me. I want to see the live shows. I feel like these pre-live show rounds are just so overproduced. It's straining on me. Like it's like I don't know.
The live show rounds are overproduced in a different way though.
I guess, but it's a little bit more natural. Like
Let's just get started with that, shall we?
All right. So, like we were talking a little bit before, this is the first round of the judge cut. So we are going to be having 18 acts performing. Only 7 of them are going to be moving forward. Actually, it's only going to be 6 technically by the judges. 1 is going to be moving on by the golden buzzer from our guest judge, who is Ken Jeong. His name is Ken Jeong, right?
Ken Jeong.
Yeah.
But can we talk about how pointless the golden buzzer is in this round? Can we talk about that real fast?
Sure.
Because
go ahead.
It's just pointless as it is on Britain's Got Talent. It's just a waste of all confetti, pretty much is what it is. Because you don't just skip around if you get the golden buzzer in this round. The judges can't send you home. But if you're not good, you're going to get it. We're not going to send you home anyway. So it's absolutely pointless in this round.
This is just like the cynical side of me coming out, but it's just because the show wants that viral moment. They want those million views on YouTube, and I mean,
totally
good for them. But it's just it makes the thing is it makes sense for the casual viewer, for the people who aren't watching the show.
I would even argue it makes sense for the audition rounds, the first round.
In my opinion, the golden buzzer should be for those acts that like aren't going to get through, and you need to get them through because you got two, maybe three judges are saying no, and you're the only one saying yes. I feel like those are the moments to use the golden buzzer. I mean, I guess it's a little bit, but for this round, it's just like I said. In my opinion, it's for the people who don't honestly watch the show and maybe are scrolling through YouTube and Facebook
Totally.
and are just looking. They're like, "Oh, the golden buzzer. That's the icon of the show. So that's the only thing I'm going to click on. I don't need to see anyone else." But to the people who actually watch it live, I feel it's not fun. Is all I can really say. It's pointless. Like you said, the people, if you're going to be getting the golden buzzer, you're probably going to be moving on without it anyway. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. You kind of there, but yeah.
All right. So let's talk for a second about our guest judge. What'd you think? Did he do a good job?
Yes. And there's no controversy about him at all. So that's great.
Eric, we would not have people on America's Got Talent who have anything controversial about them. Every one of our judges has squeaky clean records. You know that. Well, except for the guest judge coming up in a few weeks, but we'll talk about that a little later. Right, Eric?
Oh God, how am I gonna edit around it? That's the thing I noticed most about Ken Jeong is that it's not he was great, but the problem is they featured him so damn much that they're gonna have to either make like an hour-long episode and just pretend that God pressed the golden buzzer for whoever gets it.
I guess we should maybe. You want to talk about this a little bit before we kind of move on? Let's talk about the controversy a little bit.
I'm good actually. I'm good for now. We'll save it for the actual week it happens.
All right, but just because I've already presented it, I should just say that there is a judge on America's Got Talent who is going to be guest judging in a couple of weeks. It is Chris Hardwick. This segment was filmed before the whole controversy arose about him. Like Eric said, we'll talk about this a little later. This is just for people who are listening and didn't know. That's just what's going on. All right, so let's get into these contestants. So like we said, 18 people. I feel like Howie Mandel just constantly repeating only 6 spots, only 6 spots. And if you're looking for a game to play while you're watching America's Got Talent, just take a drink every time Howie Mandel.
Stupid.
No, or just how many people are going through. How many times Simon Cowell says we weren't expecting that. Every time a judge says, "I'll be fighting for you,"
I'll be fighting for you. I wasn't expecting that. I didn't like it. I loved it. There's a
standing ovations.
Standing ovations need to be dead in the first 10 minutes.
All right, this is getting a little ridiculous. Let's move on to Junior New System. They're the first act. We saw them in the auditions. I remember them. These guys are. I wrote down in my notes, these guys are everything a producer would want in an act on America's Got Talent, in a dance act. They have a sob story, they have a gimmick, they have some talent, and they're pretty easy to bust in a future round. Is that a correct assessment of this act?
100%. The one thing I noticed is I think we're talking about it's great to be in the middle round. And that just drove in my head, oh, this is not the middle round. On Asia's Got Talent, the second round is the middle round. Here, we're not even halfway done. But yeah, the heels are, I think, an inventive twist. They were really in sync. I was impressed by it. The thing I noticed most, honestly, about the routine was that they got like maybe double the time of some of the later acts of the show, didn't they?
I did actually want to point that out. I was looking at my watch. I was like, this is like, yeah, I'm glad they're getting more time, but this is longer than they're usually allowed.
Yeah,
it was about 2 minutes 30, I think.
It felt like 3 minutes at least. The crazy thing is, I was thinking like, if every act gets this amount of time to perform, kudos, and then not every act did.
Of course not. It's not like America's Got Talent is fair to everyone. We have to have some bias for some acts.
Even the singers, like even the acts that should have gotten like more time to actually say more of a song, for example, or Mochi could have gotten more time to do more of his thing.
Yeah, I guess. But for these guys, I mean, I feel like the producers love these guys because they're giving them everything they want. They're crying in the confessional section. Like they're pretty, you know, they're giving them what they want. Right?
I would agree. Yeah, I liked them. Do I think they're gonna win or even make the final? Nope. But they'll make it to the second round of live shows. That's my guess.
I'm gonna say not even that. I think next round is where it's gonna end. I feel like all it takes is for one judge to say it wasn't perfect and they're gone. Like they're so easy to bust. And I feel like, in all honesty, Eric, are people really going to be getting excited for this group? Like, is this someone that like people are
No,
really going to want to?
no, but I think again we're talking about the level of talent in the season. They're probably in the top 20 acts just because because they have the unique twist. They're really good at what they do, and yeah, the sob stories and stuff. I think they are in the top 20.
I'm not going to agree with you, but
That is fine. We'll see.
uh,
We'll
we'll
see who's
see.
right. Okay.
I just personally don't see that invested in this kind of an act. I see them going first in like the next round, and it's just an easy. It's like we could just easily like send them on their way. Like they're, it's not going to be that
Yeah,
hard.
I could see that why you would think that. I tend to think that unless they have a lot more good acts that they have that we haven't seen very much of, that's my thing.
All right, so let's kind of move on. We get our next act really quickly. We get Harold and Reagan. They're a dance group, and I love this moment. Simon is like addressing them, and you see he's like looking down at a paper before he looks up at them, and he mentions like you two had something going on in the past, as if he had clearly remembered them all the way back from his audition. Uh, that's just me nitpicking again. I'm always a little cynical because these rounds are taped months after the auditions. Like, if I had to guess, Simon Cowell has no idea who these people are before he's looking at the paper. Do you agree, Ryan? Eric? Well, I almost called you Ryan. My bad.
Okay. And yes, I totally agree. I mean, the one thing I'll say is that like Simon's had a history of comments where he clearly doesn't know who's standing in front of him, even when it's an act he's mentoring sometimes.
Really? On what, on X Factor?
Oh, you don't remember this? You don't remember the one in the middle for the groups on X Factor ones? The USA? I forget what their group name was, but I wasn't their
Emblem
mentor.
Free? Was
No,
it
no,
Harmony?
Emblem Free he liked. Um,
I don't even know. Let's
it
kind
was
of.
it was free girls, free African American girls.
Which season?
Season 3.
I.
Crap.
It's funny.
I liked them too. Is the thing. That's the most annoying part. Okay, let's move on.
All right, let's move on to Us the Duo, which was, in my opinion, in my top 2 favorite moments of the episode.
Agreed.
They have this story. Howie Mandel in their audition really did not like their original song. I mean, man, Howie just has something against bands singing original songs. But
Not against solo singers singing original songs. Cough, cough, grace.
They talked about in their audition how they hope that their experience on the show is going to lead to them being able to start a family, and lo and behold, that is actually coming true. She's the woman is actually pregnant, and they're talking all about how excited they are to be. If they move on, they'll be performing at the Dolby, and didn't they they probably already performed at the Dolby? I mean, they're a pretty big group, right, Eric?
I don't know. All I know is I thought they'd be cut this round because first of all, I saw they're going on a European tour, which kind of I wasn't sure. And then the treatment they got from Howie was so negative still, and Simon wasn't universally positive. So I thought they were goners. I was really happy that they weren't because I thought they were great. I thought they were the best musical moment of the night, hands down. Great songwriters.
I
Great
think
singers.
they honestly. I don't know. They spent too much time on them, in my opinion, to send them home. Like there was too much attention on them.
Yeah, I thought they would be that 8th act. Like there are like 7 acts that get a lot of time and go through, and there was always like 1 or 2 more that are like that get it all the time and go home. I thought they were going to be that 8th act, and I'm really happy they weren't, and I'm really happy with who was instead.
So they go for another original song they're going to perform. The guy is behind a piano, and then she is standing next to him, and they kind of sing. And then there's actually this really cool part where they take it a cappella, like they both stand up from. He stands up from the piano, and they kind of walk forward. And that was my opinion, the best part of the song. I think it was pretty strong. The thing is, I can't shake the feeling that like Simon Cowell is looking at them, and he's seeing Alex and Sierra 2.0. Do you agree?
I don't think that's necessarily a good thing in Simon's eyes at this point.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of getting at.
Yeah. Simon liked Alex and Sierra when they were on the show, and then they split up, and then they didn't do so great because Simon didn't promote them properly, and then blah 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 blah. But anyway, yeah, I the thing is, I like them a lot, and they are definitely Alex and Sierra like. But yeah, I can see them totally getting blessed next round.
I'm going to disagree. I think they stand a pretty good shot of making it. I think they are going to make it through the first round, and then the journey will end the round after that. I feel like they have a pretty strong fan base. It should carry them through at least one round, in my opinion, at least.
Well, I'll be voting for them, but I don't think I'll be enough. All
right. So
I'm pretty pessimistic about them because I've seen like.
Why are you so pessimistic?
Because I saw Beach Avenue. That's why I'm pessimistic.
I'm not, but I don't think they'll win. I think they'll get a little bit further. I guess we're going to kind of move on to Kevin Blake. We get a short snippet of him. Actually, no, we get a little bit more time. He has his audition, which we never actually saw, if I'm correct. Did we see it? Did we see it?
Well, here's the thing. I know I would remember a rapping magician, if I saw one, because something that dreadful would never leave my memory.
I actually want to give kudos to Kevin Blake because I feel like he had a strategy that he's going to be the rapping magician. Like that's a thing. That's a typecast you could be on the show. That is something different that will get you there. And then once he made it through the first round, he's like, screw it. I'm now just going to rely on my talent. And that's just something that's like a little bit of something I can appreciate in him. Do you kind of share that sentiment?
No.
What do you think?
I think the fact that they even showed a clip of him as a rapping magician sunk him immediately in my eyes.
Yeah, but I feel like if someone like me, who's a talentless hack and has nothing that he could do, like for America's Got Talent, if I was to come up with like a gimmick to get me to that first round, and then by like a miracle I move on, I could easily just toss that gimmick because I don't need it anymore. It's gotten me that first step to the show. Now that I've gotten through the door, I could say deuce to that and kind of rely on whatever talent I've managed to come up with. Probably won't be good. No?
No comment.
No comment. All right, but
he's no Shin Lim, is what I'll say. I'll move on after that.
He is though a magician. He does this kind of trick with takes a ring. I think it was from Mel B. Yeah, it was Mel B.
Yes, Mel B's ring.
He takes a ring and he kind of lets it go in the wind, and then all of a sudden he opens up a box on the judges' table, and there's the ring. And I kind of have this question with all these acts, and I want to know if you kind of share my opinion. Is that really Mel B's ring? Like, or is that like a fake ring that's like been planted on? Like, he's not really doing this trick with her God knows how expensive ring, right?
I don't know. Depends on how much room there is for error.
Because I'm not a very rich person like Mel B is, but if I have a ring, I'm not giving it to this person at all. Like I don't not even for the magician.
If the producers think there's even a slight chance that he's going to screw it up, they won't let him do it. That's my guess.
That's actually a point we're going to touch on a little bit later on in the show. But
yes,
anyway,
we will.
That's just something that I'm kind of thinking about. Like
Right. Crap. Why did I just say that? I'm such an idiot for saying what I just said.
Let's kind of move on. Let's kind of move on. So we move on to, I said Us the Duo was one of the highlights of the episode. I'm going to say the other highlight, in my opinion, was, I think his name was Mr. Mochi. He goes by Mochi or Mr. Mochi. Which was it, Eric?
I don't know.
So he is a guy who is going to do this trick with like, I think they're called Diablo. They're like these, it's like this thing that you kind of see like street performers doing with like this canister on like two strings, and you balance it and you throw it. And I just want to say he is just like dripping with likability. Like he is someone that is like, no one could hate this guy. He seems so genuine. Like he seems like someone who's really invested in his craft. He comes on stage and he does this kind of performance in front of like a projector screen. And I loved it. Did you, Eric?
I loved it too. He's great. Love the visuals. Love the tricks. I don't think he'll make the final because I think it's going to get old after like one or two more times. A little bit. I think he's going to definitely make second round of live shows easily.
I think so too. He just seems like a cool gugu like when he seems like someone who's like he knows his stuff. He's good at his stuff. And I just hope
the creativity and the projections was really interesting too. I like that. I like acts like this when they have a visual behind them that makes sense and, is in sync with what they're doing.
Yeah, I hope in the next round that he doesn't drop it because I feel like if he drops it once, it's
He's
game
gone.
over. It's
Yeah.
over. Like he's it's basically the equivalent of like a juggling act kind of where you got to be 99 and not 99, 100% perfect. But I do kind of have this question that I wanted to ask you because I do like Mochi. He is one of my favorites. Uh, but I don't know if this is an act that I could watch for an hour. Like it's
Oh,
cool, but
100% agreed.
that's what I was thinking. I was like, I like this guy. He
And
seems
that is why he's not going to make the final. He's going to make it to the second round of live shows. But when it comes to acts that I could sit there for more than half an hour and watch, he's not on the list.
I would like in these small snippets, it's fine, but
Oh, totally.
in like an hour, like I said, in even like 20 minutes, I feel like, all right, this is really cool, but you're just throwing the thing up and down and you're doing the sculpture. It's
Yes.
cool. By all means, you're a talented person, but it's not something that I could watch for that long. Which is a problem I feel he might run into a little bit later on into the show. It might get a little bit repetitive. I would suggest to switch it up, do whatever you can to keep switching it up, do something creative. I like that he included the second canister. Is canister the correct term for the spinning things? The disc? I don't know.
Wow, how would I know?
You might be our Diavolo expert the next coming. Who knows? All right, let's kind of move on to an act that I kind of have a little bit to talk about. It's Lily Williker. She is an animal impersonator. We only get a bit of a small snippet of her. She does these, I think it was the forest. She does forest animals, right?
Yes.
What did you think about her?
The second I saw her being montage and being sent home, I'm like, this is precisely why she shouldn't have made it through in the first place. Don't put a girl through only because you know you're going to send her home in the next round. I don't like seeing kids getting their dreams crushed on TV. I just don't. But here's the most annoying thing. That wasn't my biggest pet peeve, and that normally would have been. But then backstage, Pam was saying that when she said, "Oh, I don't have any competition," Pam's like, "Oh, she's gonna have some competition." The next act said that. I'm like, that was rude.
Oh, come on, Eric. That was probably like pre-taped. That she probably didn't even know who she was looking at. Like it was just like giving lines like, "Oh, say she's my competition. He's my competition." I don't hold that against. That's just the overproduction speaking.
I would hope so. I don't know.
I don't
know if either of them were taken out of context. I can't judge. It's too edited. If she said something like that on the live show where they weren't editing it, I'd be mad.
Yeah, I because you hear the stories of like people who come off the show and they talk about how they're given lines to say like this is
okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what really happened, but God, the way it was presented did not make either of them look very good.
I have a little bit of a controversial opinion.
Go ahead.
I might have actually put Lily possibly through. And let me explain myself. Let me explain myself.
Bye.
Let me explain myself. Let me explain because at least every single, just about, I think maybe even every single act that performed tonight has like they were a recruit. Like I feel like every other person was kind of dragged on. I believe that this girl probably honestly is the only one of the night who might have actually waited online and gone through the whole process of her own merit. She's not someone I feel that was like scouted. She is someone who genuinely probably liked the show, has this talent. It's not the best kind of talent, but she has a talent. And it's just, she's not one of these like a plant. And I just appreciate that about her. And I don't know, you're probably going to think I'm crazy, but I appreciate that about her.
Yes, I think you're crazy.
Because, all right, but the thing is, I appreciate that about her is all I can say. Like everyone else, like,
okay,
there were threads on
that's fair. But would you watch that for more than 10 minutes?
No, but there are threads on.
There we go.
There are threads like on Reddit of people like every single contestant who performed tonight was on some other show, was like recruited.
Yes, that's how.
But that's not fair then to take
I agree, but that's not. You can't take that out on the contestants. You take that out on the production.
But the thing is, I can't shake that because she is one of the like the genuine people who's like not a shady, not
God.
like has been recruited. It's just an opinion. You don't have to agree with me.
I
It's
don't.
just something that I kind of am thinking going through the show. Do you think I'm like a little? Is there a little bit of sense that I'm making here, Eric?
No,
Not at all.
none.
No. All right.
When you said that she should make it through, you lost me. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's fair, but like I said, it's
She
just
seems like
something.
a lovely girl, but yeah, that's not even $100,000 talent.
All right, let's.
$10,000, maybe not even that.
All right,
I'd give
so
her $100 to do it, maybe.
wow, harsh. All right, let's kind of move on to Pam and Oscar, our singing dog of the night.
Of the season.
Of the night. Who knows? Maybe we're gonna have a chicken next season.
We
actually did. We did. So Pam, she plays piano, and the dog kind of just howls.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the act.
And I have in my notes.
Team Mel.
What?
Hashtag Team Mel.
I have in my notes. How did they get here? Like, how did they, like? How are we at this point here? How did we get to this point, Eric?
What point? I didn't hear setup.
How are they here? Like, I was looking, this is my notes. I said, how did they get to this point? Like,
well, Simon wanted a singing dog. This came, well, I wouldn't even say it came close, but it came closer than anything else he'd ever seen. And so it didn't matter if it still was unbearable and insufferable to listen to. They were going through. Thank God I didn't get through to the next round, but
this was just Let's kind of move on.
Please.
Let's move on to Daniel Emmett. He is an opera singer, and he was in the audition. I actually do remember him. He had this totally not falsely created drama built around him because Simon Cowell stops his first song and he asks for the second. He says he didn't. I didn't bring a second song. I think we talked about this a little bit in the past. He comes back with a new song, and I mean, it's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really like opera, but
Can I just say, I'm shocked he didn't make it through. He was the biggest surprise. Him and Patches were the two that I could have sworn were going to make it through.
Wait, are you saying you weren't expecting Lily Williker to move on? He just shakes his head at me, and that says enough. I forgot him, honestly. Daniel, like at the end when I was thinking who's going to make it through, I was actually like counting on my fingers. I was at the gym like doing it, and I was missing one, and I was like, who is it? And then I realized it was him. I don't know.
He was good. I found the most interesting part, not him, but the focus backstage on whether or not Simon was going to stand up.
Oh, come on, it's just all built up for the drama of it. But
I know, but still, the fact that they're talking about, we're talking about standing ovations, and like the fact that he can get one was like setting it up that he might not get through. Simon might not have liked it enough.
All right. Do you have any final thoughts on them? I mean, we'll kind of talk a little bit more about these contestants at the end when we get to the results, but any final thoughts before we move on?
He would have been bust eventually, so I'm happy that they didn't draw it out.
All right. I do have this question I want to ask you, Eric. Do you think that the acts that were shown on TV were in the order they actually performed live at the event?
I don't know.
Because I've been watching the show in the past, and they always do the golden buzzers during this round, like at the halfway point, like right at that 9 o'clock sweet spot.
Pretty much.
So the question I have then is, whoever is performing in the 8th or 9th spot, are they just automatically going to get the golden buzzer, or is that just?
I think they switch the order up a little bit. I think.
Yeah.
I think the montage acts are probably pretty switched up a lot. I mean, honestly, the thing is, they don't really present it in order because it's so like the montages and other things like that. So.
All right, so let's kind of move on to the Voices of Hope Children's Choir. This kind of it's a choir of about 70 kids, and if they were to win the show, each one would probably get I don't know the math, but they would not each get $1 million. They would get a couple of bucks.
They'd get maybe like I'd say $100 each
after taxes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. After taxes, at most at most $1,000 each.
Yeah, basically.
Then I would go and double there. That's what I'm saying. That price.
The story is kind of though for their segment is really focused on their leader person. I actually wrote in my
Yes,
note, what do you call the leader person of a
they
choir?
call her director.
Is it a conductor or is that
They
like
said
a
director.
I was just confused, but yeah, they kind of focus on her, and they end up performing from Moana. How far I'll go, and I just want to say I'm starting to hate this song. Like it was good, like the first couple of times, but this is we're reaching I have nothing level of overdoneness on these kind of shows. Am I right, Eric?
I didn't hate it. I'll say this. I did not. I'm not sure I enjoyed making the story all about the director, not about the kids. Personally,
Okay.
I'm not sure I'm okay with that. I'm not sure I'm in favor of that choice on director stuff. I think the first and the third girls to sing in the choir were amazing. Um, the middle, the second and fourth lead singers weren't so great, but they were passable at least. No, I will say none of the lead singers or none of the singers really irritated me like the choir we saw last week. And so because they're one of the better choirs that I've seen, I can't complain about them getting the golden buzzer.
Yeah, I do just want to mention. I was talking about the song a second ago. This is nothing against them. I'm gonna say that the producers totally like kind of shoehorned them into this song, so I can't hold their song choice against them. I think they're good. I mean, choirs never make it that far into the game in this show. Uh, do you think they could maybe break the curse? Do you think they might make it to the finale?
I think top 10 is their best bet. I do.
Yeah,
I think they actually might make the finale, but I don't think they'll make the top 5.
the thing is I always kind of remember like in past seasons like the top like 10 is usually like one person act with like the occasional like group of like 5 or 10, probably just because they want to save money on like the hotels, you know. It's a lot of kids to accommodate for like a couple of weeks.
Oh, it's okay.
All right. So they actually, the judges seem to really like them, especially our guest host. He actually ends up giving them the golden buzzer, which is just saying to all the people who say the kids are the only ones getting golden buzzers on America's Got Talent. Well, now 70 kids have just got a golden buzzer. I mean, good for them, but do you kind of agree with this decision?
I can't be mad at it because they were great, but there were 2 acts I would actually there was one I think I would rather have given it to Us the Duo, honestly.
Wow. Us the duo. I would have given it to, of this night, I would have honestly given it to Mochi, probably.
He was the one I was waffling on, but the thing is, Us the Duo I could sit through an hour of, Mochi I couldn't.
Choirs are like, they're kind of unique in a way because they are like, you could hypothetically sit through like an hour show of theirs. Like, it's something you might, I'm not the crowd for it, but I'm sure there are people who would like to go out there and do those kind of like see that kind of show for a day. But I'm always grappling with this question of why do choirs always suffer on these shows? Like, why do they never make it through? And I think we actually touched on this in a previous podcast. I believe it's because it's too many people. Like there's with solo acts, there's the one person you could connect to, you could feel like I'm rooting for that person. When it's so many people, it gets disjointed. Do you think there's a possible way to kind of fix this problem, or is this just something choirs are always going to have to deal with on the show?
Well, the way they even the slim chance of fixing it would be focusing more on the lead singers.
But that's not fair then, I feel.
Oh, it's not fair. I'm not saying it's fair, but I'm saying it's the only way to fix the problem.
It's how the kids are all going to be getting their $1,000. They're going to have to sacrifice that. They're going to push one kid forward. Like, this is our tribute, and we're all going to just kind of let them take the spotlight. There was one kind of moment that did kind of get me a little something. Heidi Klum says she's happy that the kids are doing this instead of playing video games, and that kind of hurt. I like video games.
I didn't even notice that, but yeah, wow. Yeah.
She took aim and
dagger right in the heart.
Dagger right here, and I was like recoil. I was like, ooh, ouch! Like she's taking aim at us, Eric. I think.
Yep.
All right, but so they're moving on.
Whatever.
So they're moving on, which means, of course, we've got to get Howie Mandel saying only 6 acts left. Only 6 acts left.
Drink.
And drink. Chug, drink number 1. We should have an Adam's TV podcast version of the drinking game. Every time Adam complains about America's Got Talent, every time he says that an unpopular contestant should move on, like I'm like the devil's advocate a little bit. That should be our drinking game. Okay. But every time Eric flashes the "sorry, I don't get it" sign, that
well, I can control that. I actually don't have a sign with me today.
No sign? There's no sign?
Oh, if you have to record in my room, I'm not going to leave the podcast to get it.
All right. Let's move on to Aaron Crow, who I think I don't get this guy. I mean,
God damn it.
There's a lot of people.
Don't rub it in that I don't have my sign next to me.
I had to do it a little bit. He is. I'm not quite sure if he's a magician or a danger act. He's this guy. He comes on. He's silent. He looks kind of like a horror villain a little bit. He doesn't say anything. Like I keep expecting him to like put on a scary mask.
And, like, Rihanna, except not.
Yeah, I do remember Sacred Rihanna. There is someone who I am actually looking forward to. For Aaron, he does this act where he puts an apple on Heidi Klum's head and shoots it off with an arrow, while Kim Jong kind of holds the what was it? It was like a little plate kind of thing. And I think this was the closest we've ever come to on America's Got Talent to almost experiencing a death. Do you agree? Tell me about what you thought about him.
Just come closer. When the guy fell, Uzier fell. That was closer.
There was a mat, though, I think. Was there? I don't remember.
I don't care.
We'll touch on that later.
I don't like when I'm like, here's what I wrote in my notes. That was cool. I don't need to see it again. Yeah, it's that simple. It's cool. I don't like watching people almost die. I just don't like doing that.
All right. All right. Let's talk about this though a little bit. Like, do you think he legitimately could have killed Heidi Klum here? Like, if his arrow is like down, do you think she would legitimately like? This really could have possibly gone wrong if he slips his hand, or maybe he's just having a bad day. Like, do you think there was potential for her to actually die in this act?
Couldn't tell you.
So did he actually fire the arrow? Because if I'm like Heidi Klum, no one's shooting an arrow near my head. I don't care if it's for your act. Like, do that on your own people. Like, is there like a legitimate, could he have actually killed somebody? Like,
I don't know. If not, it's a cool trick.
Yeah, I was actually reading some articles. Some people are kind of saying this wasn't actually a trick. He was actually doing some magic kind of thing. So it was some shenanigans going on, maybe a little bit behind the scenes. Some people were kind of analyzing the video, which wouldn't be the first time America's Got Talent has kind of done some little hijinks behind the scenes. But I do have this question. He actually takes Heidi Klum's ring, puts it into an apple, and sets it like on this plate. And the question is, what if Heidi Klum wasn't wearing a ring that day? Like, how did he know that she was wearing a ring?
He told her to wear a ring.
Aaron, but he doesn't talk.
He didn't. Really? God, really? Okay, I guess I kind of deserve that. But okay, let's move on.
The thing is, I don't get this act. Like, I know that there's the picture.
Let me get fine.
But no. But it's just I don't understand why people like watching people almost die. Like, that's not entertainment for me. Like, I guess there's an audience for those those people who like watching people almost die. But I mean, I do enjoy, though, I will say, like, escape artists. That is something I do enjoy. No, I enjoy escape artists. I don't enjoy, like, I'm going to jump onto a trampoline full of rat traps or whatever. Like, those, I don't know. But for Aaron Crow, I probably honestly wouldn't have sent him through, which is a little crazy, I feel to say. Maybe that would have been Lily's spot.
Oh, God. Honestly, of the two, I kind of... Now, here's my time to say something blasphemous. I would have preferred Lily over him.
So, wait a minute. Let's just take a break. Let's pause. You would have put through Lily over Aaron Crow.
Yes, I would have.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Because one act I know is not going to win or make it that far. and the other act I'm gonna be annoyed with for a lot longer.
I guess. Let's
It's
kind of move on.
genuinely which act would last longer if they got through, and that's the only reason.
Do you think Aaron Crow's going to make top 10?
Not top 10, possibly top 20.
All right, let's kind of move on to really quickly. We get act number 11. It's Carmen Lynch. She's our comedian, and comedy is a bit of a sad category this year. Not many highlights except for Leo's, but I
Where's
actually kind of
spoiled me.
yeah, I actually kind of like this chick. Her voice kind of reminded me of like Quagmire's girlfriend from Family Guy.
Okay.
I don't know if you know who I'm talking about, but
I haven't watched Family Guy in years.
yeah, she kind of had this like kind of funny voice. Like I was kind of digging her a little bit. Did you?
I smirked a couple of times, honestly. I didn't laugh out loud once. And I don't think that she was good enough or unique enough for live shows.
Yeah, pretty much. I probably would have put her in like on my ranking would have been like 8, 9.
Probably
like she's kind of
she was on the border, but she wasn't quite there in my view.
All right, let's move on to Christina Wells. We saw a lot of her in the auditions. She has this whole story about her auditioning for this park, and she didn't get in because someone told her it was because of her weight. She performs "Never Enough" by The Greatest Showman. She actually gets called out on being pitchy, which is a term not often heard on America's Got Talent.
Thank God, if they didn't, I would have pitched a fit.
Oh, we're getting puns today. What did you think about Christina Wells?
I had to do that. I'm sorry. I think my thing about her is she needed to be absolutely perfect to overcome the fact that she's so old-fashioned. And quite frankly, I don't think it was good enough. Parts of it were genuinely almost painful to my ears.
Ooh.
There was one part in particular towards the bridge where they actually cut to Mel making a face, and I was making.
I remember that face. It was like.
Yeah, I was making the same face.
I wasn't sure if it was the stank face or the I don't like what I'm watching face, because those two are kind of like confusing to me.
It was the oh god, that doesn't sound good face. And I had the same face.
For me, I mean, I won't deny that she has a talent. She's not someone I could get excited for. Like, I feel like of our singers, well, there's basically only one or two that I would say. She's just, I don't see people jumping on her train, in my opinion. She's kind of presenting herself. I will say though, this is a very modern song, but she does kind of feel a little bit old-fashioned. And
that's what I said. Yeah, I think. And my thing is, she could possibly overcome that for at least a little bit if she was note perfect and didn't and was absolutely sounded 100% perfect. But she didn't, and that was a problem.
The thing is, I think this was actually brought up in the show. We hold acts on America's Got Talent, like dancers, like I don't know, every kind of thing.
It was brought up after Duo Transcend.
Yeah, we can talk about it at either point, but it is a point that I think should be made. I feel like if a singer is not 100% like amazing, they should go home, right? Because if we're going to hold them to the same standard as like a dance act, and if one person slips, then they're all going home. I feel like it should be like pretty set in stone that they have to be incredible or they just have to go home. That's just how things should be with these kinds of acts.
So you think the dance act should have also gone home if they screw up?
Well, if we're going to have that standard, I feel like if we're going to lower the bar a little bit, then by all means. But I feel like I said, for someone like Junior New System, if one person slips, if Mochi like trips on his feet for a second, they're done. So I feel like if Christina Wells has like a crack in her song, she should be done. Like that's
a crack. A little crack.
A crack is the same, like in this metaphor. Like it's the same. It's an error.
No, I think a crack is different from an entire like sentence being off pitch and being painfully off pitch. I think it's very different. I would have sent her home after this performance, honestly. But yeah.
Another spot for Lily Williker. She's just like, there's so many open spots for her now. We've ditched Aaron Crow. We've ditched Christina Wells. Like, I don't know. This could be her year.
Okay.
All right, let's move on. We got really quickly. Well, we don't get really quickly. We got a whole segment on patches. He says that he's going on the show. He is hoping that his run on the show will result in him getting a blue verification check on Instagram, which I applaud you. That's a good thing. I would also want a blue
I'd like,
check.
you know what I'd like right now? I'd like 100 subscribers to our YouTube channel so we can have an official URL. That'd be great.
That would be great.
Let's do that.
Let's do that. But what did you kind of think about Patches? He's the rapping boy. What'd you think?
I remember who he was. Thank you. I know you're saying it for other people. But anyway, not my thing at all. At least he didn't come across as cocky or annoying this time.
I'm gonna say I was fully expecting him to advance, though.
So was I.
Like,
I'm shocked he got sent home.
Because he fills a niche. Like, he's not someone he's a not threatening like winner. He's not a threatening potential winner. Like, he fits pretty neatly into like the going home like first round. Like, and I actually was messaging you about the show while it was happening live. Like, every single year there's like the WTF pick, I always call it. The one person who like you would 100% disregard and say, oh, you're definitely not going to go through. That kind of always does. It didn't really happen this week. I am kind of expecting it though in the coming weeks. And one person's going to get robbed because they do kind of want that like the give and pull of one person getting through who shouldn't maybe, and one person getting cut who probably should have gone through. But Patches, he raps, and I mean, I don't really want to say any harsh things because it is still a child, but
came across a lot better this time, before and after and during the performance. I'll say that. So that was good. The editing was much improved. The presentation was much improved. The act, I don't think personally was, but at least they didn't humiliate a child. That's what matters.
Are you a fan of rappers? Are you a fan of rap music?
No.
So what do you think though might a rapper need to do to kind of advance through the show? Like, I feel like this round is a sinkhole for rappers. Like, they don't have the audience potentially pushing them through.
Yeah.
I
think the issue, honestly, I just can't listen to raps about the show on any show. It just makes me cringe up for some reason. I don't know why, but it does.
The thing is, I feel like for a rapper to succeed, you kind of need, like, I don't know if you remember these people, like a bars and melody kind of act. Like, you need a singer,
and a rapper.
It doesn't work when it's just a rapper.
And you know what? Simon figured that out on X Factor last year. He wanted a rap act to win, and he got it because Raksu wrote original songs, 3 rappers, 1 singer, and that's how they won.
Did Bars and Melody win? I actually never watched this.
But they're better than the act that won.
Who won?
Collabro, a boy band that sang musical theater songs.
Oh, yeah. They were everywhere. Those two. I remember that was like every time you go on Facebook, it's like 10 people have reposted it.
Yeah, because they were Simon's first ever Golden Buzzer.
Really? And they didn't win?
They were the first Golden Buzzer. No, Golden Buzzers never won Britain's Got Talent.
Wow. It's kind of like the exact opposite of AGT.
Oh, yeah, it's exactly the opposite. Literally, Golden Buzzer is a curse on Britain's Got Talent, it seems like.
All right.
Let's make the live shows, but you won't win. Okay.
Let's kind of move on to really quickly. We get Andrew Johnston. I think there was actually a kid on America's Got Talent with that same name, like many years ago. He sings "Imagine" by John Lennon.
Montaged, goner.
Montage. That's what I wrote. Montaged. Rest in peace. Your run on the show. Like, it never works if you're montaged. So I guess let's kind of keep moving with Selena and Filiberto. This is gonna be hard for me to get out with the straight face. But
here's the good news: the song didn't offend me this time.
It wasn't Talk Dirty.
You know what? The song didn't offend me. So you know what? Good. The act was horrific, but you know what? The song choice at least didn't make my ears bleed. So that's a step up.
Yeah,
I'll give them credit for that.
They are this older couple. They do some kind of raunchy dance moves, and they dance to kind of
So how did they get backup dancers? Why is that okay?
They have a lot of backup dancers on America's Got Talent.
No, not in this round.
What do you mean?
They're the only act that got backup dancers in this round.
Which act needed backup dancers?
Touche. Maybe Junior New System could have had some.
Maybe Patches or Lily Williker? I don't know.
Willie didn't sing. What are you talking about?
We're being mean. Let's stop. For them, I totally understand why they're here. Like, I 100% understand the producers are like, this is so perfect. This is viral videos all over, and they just see like dollar signs in their eyes. Like,
I don't
imagine
want
like
to
in a
make the
cartoon
obvious
show.
viral joke, but I'm above that joke.
Oh dear God. Let's this has gone all off the rails. Let's just kind of move on really quickly. We get these next kind of acts we get really quickly. I'm gonna totally mispronounce her name, but I'm sorry. I'm gonna try and do it really quickly. It's Trin Tra Mai, I think was her name. We get all of 4 seconds of her. She's doing kind of this balancing act. I thought she was pretty incredible of the tiny little bit that we saw. We also get Jack Tenney, who's kind of like a jackass kind of figure, where they do like. Let's talk about Jack for a second. Are you into these kind of acts?
I honestly forget it. What was it again?
They were like the jackass.
Oh, the guys who. I wrote something about them. I was like, what am I watching? I remember who it was now. Yeah, I'm like, I don't need to see that.
He jumped onto a trampoline full of tasers.
Yay!
Survived and wasn't unconscious. These are like the acts that I'm afraid of on America's Got Talent. Like, I can kind of take the danger acts, but this is where I draw the line, in my opinion. Like,
but what about Dustin Sojo? That guy got salt thrown in his eyes and had to fight through the pain.
It's Dustin's Dojo. Oh God. Forget the danger acts. Like, these are the ones that, like, I feel like one of the judges.
But what about them swinging at fruit? That's also dangerous.
Dustin's Dojo, like, come back to America's Got Talent somehow. Otherwise, let's move on to Duo Transcend. They are the pimp spot. Although who knows if they actually performed last? They do this aerial kind of act. They have this whole sob story about they have a son and they're always performing, and there's always danger involved. And I was actually messaging Eric as this was happening, and I think that there should be a new rule for acts such as this. Eric, do you remember what that rule was?
No one should actually be in danger of losing their life on America's Got Talent. So have a match if there's an act like this.
Yeah, because during their act, they're doing this performance, and like America's Got Talent, they love to hype up these moments. He slips on taking a hold of her, and she falls.
She falls.
Yeah. I don't understand why the producers feel like they need Simon Cowell to be able to say, and you could actually die doing this, and then they say like, yes. Like, America's Got Talent is not worth potentially losing your life. I'm just gonna say it. It's a show. It's somewhat okay TV on like its good days, but
it's good TV. I'll say that. But I still, I can't watch these types of acts, honestly. I know that if someone's actually gonna get hurt, they're not gonna air it on TV. Because, if they did, that would be really, really tasteless, and they'd get a lot of shit for it. Rightfully so. But they shouldn't have anyone having potential of getting hurt, I think.
I feel like the show needs to remove the stigma of having a mat. Like, there should be no shame in having a mat. Like, I don't understand why they want to feel like, oh, he could actually break his neck doing this. Like, why do we need that? Why is that a thing that we need?
Why does that make it more entertaining?
Yeah. It's just something I'm thinking about. Also, another point for this segment, it's they keep spoiling that this is going to happen. Like, imagine I was watching the show, and at every commercial, they're showing the scene of him like slipping on her and her falling down. Imagine if we didn't see that, and all of a sudden it happens live, and we've no idea that this is coming. Like, can you imagine the reaction then? Like,
it would have been a lot. It would have been a lot better of a reaction. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, like if I was watching this and I didn't know it was coming, I would have been like, "Oh my God, what the like?"
Yeah.
Is she alive?
That would have been a lot better. I didn't watch The Voice when this happened, but I was watching, Melinda and Michael Slezak. I was on a reality check binge earlier this week, watching that viral podcast that they did. And there's one point where there was a contestant, Cassandra, who hit a note in rehearsal, and they showed the note in rehearsal, so there was no suspense that she was going to hit it. I
think I know what song that was. That was Oh Sherry, right?
I don't know. But whatever it was, I remember they were like, don't spoil it in the rehearsal or in the clips, because then that takes away all this. That takes away all the impressiveness or all the horror or whatever. Don't spoil things for us.
I feel like it's just so much more impactful if you don't know it's coming. Like
exactly.
If I was
just
watching
like the Golden Buzzer, don't put that in the last audition. Put it somewhere throughout the night where we don't know when it's going to happen. Make it more interesting.
All right. We could kind of rattle on about this for a while, but let's get to the results. So the acts moving forward, in addition to the choir, are Duo Transcend. We'll talk about that a little more. Christina Wells, Aaron Crow, Us the Duo, Mochi, and Junior News System. And I want to ask you, Eric, did they get it right?
I will say Us the Duo is 100% right. Mochi's 100% right. Voices of Hope, I wouldn't give them the Golden Buzzer, but they should have definitely made through. And other than that, and Junior News System, I would say yes. I would put them through. How many others did I not mention?
You didn't mention Christina or Aaron Crow. And Lily Williker and Patches are getting pretty excited right now.
And Duo Transcend I didn't mention either. Yeah, I honestly think the other three were interchangeable with other acts. I didn't care. Honestly, the four I cared about all made it through. So, I'm happy. And I didn't really care about the others.
Eric, who was robbed?
Nobody.
Nobody? I'm going to disagree. I feel like I would have, honestly, I would have probably cut Christina and Duo Transcend and also Aaron Crow.
Wait, I didn't hear what you said.
I would have honestly probably cut Christina Wells, Duo Transcend, and Aaron Crow. And honestly, I probably would have switched them with I guess Carmen, Kevin Blake maybe, and I don't know. This was a bit of a rough show, is all I can kind of say.
I like the four acts. The rest of them I didn't care for. But honestly, since I didn't think anyone was robbed, but I think some people should have made it through. I don't know what I would rather put through instead of them, but yeah.
All right. So looking forward, are there any acts that you're most looking forward to seeing in this coming round?
You mean the next round?
Yeah,
the next episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm excited to see Us the Duo again.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it.
I'm going to say Us the Duo and Mochi. I feel like those are the two stars of this night. Everyone else is kind of fodder or glorified fodder. I mean, maybe Aaron Crow. Some people like him. I feel like he's kind of fitting the niche of like the regurgitator, kind of like the oddball, like the act that kind of like doesn't belong. That's like kind of in their own category, like the regurgitator, like Tape Face. They're all kind of in their own like separate category.
Don't you dare compare regurgitator to Tape Face.
I mean, well, Tape Face is amazing. He's one of my favorite acts, honestly, that's ever performed on the show.
Vomits things.
Yeah, less said on the regurgitator, the better.
Yeah.
So that's basically our episode. Do you kind of have anything else you kind of want to touch on before we kind of close?
Other than the fact that I forgot to include, I forgot where the product placement segment was, but I am gonna actually make it do a plug for like an Idol alumni or a reality show alumni every week now.
By all means.
Okay, so David Cook is back on Broadway doing Tiki Boots again. I'm going to the Labor Day matinee. I strongly recommend you buy a ticket if you're in the area. He's awesome. He's also doing an acoustic tour in November. So
I once saw Annie on Broadway.
Okay.
Anyway, that's my Broadway experience. I'm sorry. Oh, I actually did see Avenue Q though, which was pretty solid.
I've heard good things about that one.
So otherwise, I mean, next week we are going to be getting another act. This is going to go on for I think 4 weeks. So
3 more weeks. It's already had 1 week.
Oh, all right. 3 more weeks. So about a month more before we get to the live shows.
God.
I just want to say, like, I like this show, but it's gotten to be a bit of a slog. It's a lot right here that we're kind of dealing with.
The annoying thing is, like, Britain's Got Talent moves way too fast, and America's Got Talent moves way too slow.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle is where effective lies. But otherwise, I just want to say, I guess my name is Adam Samuel. You can find my 2 blogs, adamsoapbox.com, adamcvblog.com. Did I say my Twitter? Yeah, I think, did I?
Adam Soapbox.
AdamSoapbox.com, at Twitter. Where can we find you, Eric?
Eric_Ascher on Twitter, youtube.com/Eric Ascher01, and fox.ericascher.com. I'll have my notes from this episode up shortly.
Just some housekeeping points to update you guys watching. Tomorrow, I'm going to be live with Ryan. We are going to be talking the next week of, well, the upcoming eviction for Big Brother. Then the following week, we're going to be back. It's going to be you and I doing another week of America's Got Talent, so on and so forth until the summer ends. After that, we're kind of going through some potential ideas for future shows to cover. If you have any ideas, by all means, send them to us either through Twitter or by commenting on the show. Anything you want us to talk about within reason.
Within reason, keywords.
Yeah.
And
hopefully.
keep in mind, I am personally boycotting The Voice until they produce someone who's actually has a successful career. So
Cassidy Pope, I like her. She's awesome.
I need
love
to
her
hear
music.
someone on the radio more than twice, and then I'll start watching The Voice again.
All right. I just want to say, Eric, thank you so much for joining me. Always a pleasure having you on for these chats. To all our viewers, thank you so much. I'll see you again tomorrow with Big Brother, which I am so excited for. There's crazy stuff going on. Ryan is probably going to yell at me once again because I picked such a weak team for my draft. But otherwise,
you're going to lose the draft?
There's a very strong chance I'm going to lose a draft.
Yay, finally.
We'll see. It's still pretty early. There's a chance. And otherwise, I just want to say thanks so much, guys, and see you tomorrow. Peace.